What's up YouTube? Ian Sandusky back here again for Let's Machine. Today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of you guys ask about all the time in comments, and I've gotten a lot of emails about this. So it's something obviously a lot of you guys are experiencing, and that issue is how to find work. We're very lucky here that we are busy pretty much year round. We don't really get a slump this time of year. We didn't have a summer slump at all. We very rarely get much in the way of downtime. You know, we had a couple weeks here and there, but we're pretty busy year round. Part of that is that we are a small shop, so it doesn't take a whole lot to keep us busy. The other part of that is that we've put a lot of work in over the years to establish a very large customer base that even if they don't order a lot each, there's a lot of them, so therefore even if they're kind of only ordering sporadically, there's enough to keep us going all the time, and it's great. We're very fortunate to have that situation. Very lucky to have a lot of talented machinists work here over the years to help us build that up. Before I was a full-time machinist and the GM here, my main role here was, I guess I was a machinist, then I went to this role. I was in sales. I was basically in business development here for a bit, trying to kind of rekindle some business as we shifted our focus around. So this is something I can actually speak with a bit of authority on that way. First things first, there's kind of 5 steps towards getting new business, or 5 steps that you need to take when you're getting new business. The first one is branding. From the outset, if I was to ask you or your shop, who are you? What do you do? And you answered something along the lines of general machining, you're already sunk. Branding these days needs to be way more specific than that. And I know what you're thinking. We're a machine shop. We're not a clothing brand. We're not, a lifestyle brand. You have to be these days to some degree. I don't care if you're making parts for the Highline industry. I don't care if you're making, stupid forgings that you think are for dirty old industrial applications. You need to have somewhat of a brand if you're to succeed in today's climate. It's the way it is. If people wanted generic faceless manufacturing, they'd send it to China. That's just kind of something I found that way. You need to know what you do, who you are, and you need to be able to back it up very easily. You need to have your elevator pitch down. Who are you? We're Lakewood Machine and Tool. We specialize in blah, 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 and we've been in this capability for, 1, 2, 3. You need to be able to answer that question very effectively. Step number 2 is specialize and specialties. If your shop is a general machining shop, like I just said, that's fine. Never ever say that you are a general machining shop. Also, you should have more specialities than just being a general mill turn shop. Reason being, if you are a generic shop, with a couple mills and a lathe, and you have no specialty, you're competing against every other guy with a lathe in his garage. You're competing against manual machinists. You're competing against hobby machinists. You're competing against guys who have been in the trade for, had their company running for a year. You're competing against China. You're competing against everybody. There's more than enough work to go around in this industry, but you have to know what work you're good at. Let's say, my company, Lakewood, we're very, very good at high visibility aluminum parts for furniture and such. We do a lot of that. We've done it for years. My parts over here, that's exactly what these are. High finish anodized stuff. That's something that we specialize in. It's something that we've really focused on. A lot of our manufacturing processes deal with that. We're really good at fixturing it. That's something we specialize in. So the people I chase for business are companies that have that kind of work. If I'm a general machinist and I go into any shop and they say, I'm looking for work, I go to any factory, I'm looking for work, and I say, hey, I'm Ian from Lakewood, I'd like to do some work, and they say, well, we have this, are you good at it? And I say, yeah. They say, okay, show me some examples. I'm lying. They're going to call me out on that. I need to be able to go in and say, yeah, your product here, we can excel at that. We have a lot of experience doing this. Here's some references you can call about it. Here's some example parts. Here's a proprietary thing that we do to make sure these parts come out the way they're supposed to come. That's what's going to help you sell it. If you are generic shop 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, but it doesn't fly today. There's way too much competition. You're competing against places like Kitchener, Waterloo, where they're working for $40 an hour shop rate. It's not worth it. You need to have a specialty, okay? Number 3, after you have your brand and your specialty, make sure those 2 things are hammered down before you do anything else. Number 3 is your existing customers. Your existing customers, pretty much no matter who they are, I guarantee you are not doing 100% of their machining, or you are not doing 100% of the things that they may need machined. I'm not saying they're working with another machine shop or another fabrication shop. They just may buy something off the shelf when really they want something custom because the off-the-shelf version is easy, whatever it may be. Maybe they have different shops. Maybe they're working with a few different shops in town and you're one of 3. Going through existing customers and saying, hey, listen, I have some machine time coming up. I'd love to work with you on developing some new business. Do you have any ideas that you're flying? A lot of times they'll say, yeah, you know what, we've been tossing around this idea for 2 years about this, whatever it may be. and now you're in. Now you can talk to them, you can develop that product together, whatever it may be. Maybe they say, listen, company B is giving me a runaround on these parts. Why don't you quote on this and see if you can do better? Let's see what your turnaround time is. That's a really good way to do it. Your existing customers you already have a relationship with are their best source off the bat of more business. Maybe you can drop price, maybe you can undercut somebody else and say, listen, I've got machines sitting around that I've got time on. I can afford to do this for a lot less than I usually can as a temporary measure. It's not going to be a permanent thing, whatever it may be. But your existing customers are important. 4, prior customers. These are existing customers that you don't do work for anymore. This involves swallowing your pride and checking your ego at the door. A lot of times if someone's not your customer anymore, it's because you did something bad. Whether you missed a timeline, or there was a quality issue, or you had falling out. There's a reason they're not your customer anymore. And very rarely is it because that the relationships just fizzled out. Sometimes that happens. You can call them and say, hey, listen, I haven't heard from you in 6 months, 8 months. What's up? What can I do for you? But a lot of times it's because, hey, you know what, that order, we were late on it. Whether it was my fault or whether it was my supplier, you just need to basically put yourself on your knees and say, listen, I'm sorry things didn't work out last time. Why don't we give it another kick at the can? I know some guys will say that getting a new customer is easier than getting an old customer to come back. I would disagree. They at least know what you're capable of on a good day, or they wouldn't be your customer in the first place. You did something to lose it, go back and fix it. I've had customers come back after 5 years away from things we've done wrong. We're not perfect. We've messed things up. Someone got hot-headed, or someone sent a part they shouldn't have sent. And you need to swallow your pride and go back and say, hey, listen, what can I do to make it right? Much easier to get a customer to come back, in my opinion, and a much better relationship out of it than just straight chasing new business. So if you've done 1 through 4, branding, specializing, getting your existing customers to see if they have anything more, and working on your prior customers from before, 5 is going for new customers. Trying to acquire new business outright is the most difficult and can waste most of your time out of all this. If someone's been a customer or someone is an existing customer, you know that they are a good company to work with. Like I've said in some of my other videos, like the 80-20 rule, not every customer is going to be a good customer. Not every potential customer is even going to be a good customer prospect, I guess. That's kind of your last option, is tracking down new business. Today, you need to have your social media on point. If you're not on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. I get the majority of my new business that I don't chase from places like Instagram. Social media is working for you even when you're not there. It's like your online billboard these days, and if you're not on top of it, I can give you a whole video on how to do things on Instagram and what to do that way. That being said, you kind of need to be on top of that already. If you're behind on that, that's something you need to get on yesterday. You may already be too late to use it effectively. But secondly, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great resource. It's social media, I guess, as well. What is going on outside? I think a snowplow just hit my truck. I'm sorry. Finally, LinkedIn and cold calling. LinkedIn I would use before cold calling, because then you can at least know who you're talking to. You can search people by job reference and industry, so you can find people who are specialized to your industry that way. And cold calling. There is a lot to be said for old-fashioned cold calling. Grabbing a Scott's directory and just calling away and seeing who's out there and who needs work done. You got to be prepared for rejection, because there's going to be a lot of them. When you get to this point, it's a numbers game. You got a shotgun approach. Be ready to call people and explain why you're specialized to them. But at the same time, it's going to be a bit of a shotgun approach, where you're just trying to hit as many doors as you can, trying to get your name across as many desks as possible. A lot of the time, they won't have work right then, but at least then if you're in their ear, if they have something in the machine, they'll come up, they'll say, oh, wait, what machine shop? Lakewood, right, let me give them a call. Trying to get work on short order if you're dead right now. New customers that way and cold calling is not the way to do it. The process to go from a cold call to a job to money in the bank is usually a long one if it's going to be anything valuable, because you need to call their references and make sure you give them credit, and then you need to quote it out properly, and that's not the other thing. That's kind of the last resort. That being said, you should be cold calling before you need to cold call. If you are dead right now, you should have been cold calling 6 months ago. It takes time. I've cold called thousands of people, and if I've got 100 customers out of that, I'd be amazed. The turnaround rate could be 2%. So call people before you need to call people. So in conclusion, guys, most people kind of jump to step 5 there, which is trying to get new business right off the bat, and they wonder why they have no branding, they have no proper website, they have no social media presence, and they wonder why it's so difficult to get business. That's kind of my breakdown of the list of things you need to do in order to get new business. Let me know your thoughts below. Some of you guys I know that watch my videos here have been in the trade way longer than I have. And some of you guys I'm sure have experience that I couldn't even hold a candle to. So if you have your own tips here, please leave them below in the comments. I would love to read them, okay? Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe below. You take care.